It was supposed to be decision day for Lane Kiffin, either remain at Ole Miss or take the LSU job. The sticking point is that Kiffin wants to coach the Rebels in the college football playoff, despite his intentions to leave for LSU. At this hour, no resolution has been reached. All right, here with CBS Sports college football insider Richard Johnson, Ohio State great Beanie Wells. Richard, what do you make of this as the drama in Oxford lingers on?
Well, we thought we were going to get a decision today, obviously. Athletic Director Keith Carter said last week that they expected a decision the Saturday after the Egg Bowl. That has now come and gone. We do not have a decision. The sticking point being one, yes, if he were to coach out the college football playoff, in my opinion, Ole Miss should not let him do that. If you have said publicly and signed a contract with LSU saying you're moving on to be their head coach, if I was Ole Miss, I wouldn't let him do it. But then there's also something that ESPN's Marty Smith reported, which is that Lane Kiffin might be trying to take offensive staff members with him to be on his new staff at LSU. So that's another wrinkle in this and something that obviously would need to be hashed out, because if I'm Ole Miss and you are actively, not only you are leaving, but you're actively trying to weaken the coaching staff by taking those guys to LSU with you, that doesn't sit right with me at Ole Miss. And we also have to remember, Lane Kiffin has managed this situation poorly in the past. I mean, coaching two teams when he was named the head coach of FAU while he was the offensive coordinator at Alabama during a college football playoff run. He managed it so poorly that Nick Saban fired him after the semifinal, and he took over his FAU team early, and Steve Sarkisian actually coached out the offense in that national championship game against Clemson that year. So if I'm Ole Miss, I don't trust that if he stuck around, he would be 100% locked in with me and my team during the, biggest game in school history. So yeah, you can understand why Ole Miss is pretty perturbed right now. You can understand why Ole Miss wants to say, hey, either stay here with us or go.
Beanie, how would this impact you as a player?
We talk so much about, blocking out distractions. Yeah. Well, this is the biggest distraction possibly that a player could go through. And if I'm on that team, I'm sitting there wondering, okay, am I going to have my coach who's gotten us to this point? What's going to be next? Is my offensive coordinator going to be gone? Who's going to coach us through the biggest game, like you just said, in school history? So my mind is kind of scrambled, and I'm trying to figure out, what's going to be the next situation in terms of what's going to happen with us in this college football playoff? Are we going to be at our best? Now, me as a specific player, I may be able to lock in and focus, but there's 100 other guys on this roster. How do you get all of those guys to focus and lock in on the task at hand when, heck, the powers that be, the decision makers, aren't even locked in and focused in this particular situation? So it'll be very hard.
How do you think this ends?
I think this ends with Lane Kiffin as the head coach of the LSU Tigers, and I think it ends with him not coaching Ole Miss in the college football playoff.
That seems like the most logical way, right? I mean, like Ole Miss is going to say, look, you can't be coaching here in the college football playoff and you're going to an SEC rival. Either go or stay. You can't have it both ways.
You would think that would be the most logical thing, but I mean, Lane Kiffin has gotten his school and his team to this point right now. So how is that the most logical situation if I'm going into a situation and I've gotten to a point that I've never been at in school's history?
Because he wants to leave.
Coaches, but no, so you let him coach.
No.
Let him coach. You let him finish out.
You can't.
No. I think you have to.
If they're hosting a playoff game and he's on the sideline for Ole Miss, it would be an absolute mess.
Who makes the final calls in terms of what they do on the offensive end? And who's done that?
In 3 weeks?
Been Lane Kiffin.
In 3 weeks?
It's been Lane Kiffin.
In 3 weeks, you can find somebody to call the offense between now and mid-December. And by the way, it's probably going to take, for that to happen, it's probably going to take either a negotiated settlement or, quite frankly, Ole Miss just paying out the buyout.
You have to have some sort of continuity in what you do from an offensive
standpoint. But you can build that in 3 weeks. It's not like they're playing next Saturday.
Yeah, but you can't build it in 3 weeks.
Yes, you can.
No, there's no way you can build it in 3 weeks at all. You've been through this the entire season. The way that we call plays, the rhythm in which we do things, all of a sudden we got a new guy coming in and, throwing plays at us and maybe, trying to add his wrinkle in, because let's not forget, whoever is going to be calling those plays, they're auditioning for a job as well. It's not like they're just going to try to take over for Lane and get this team to win a championship. No, they want to put their touch on it because they want to be seen, they want to be noticed, and they want to say, oh, maybe this guy can be our head coach. So it's going to be different all across the board, and I just don't know that you can disrupt that chemistry with the football team.
But remember, Beanie, I just said that happened years ago with Alabama, where they got rid of Lane and they put in Sark, and Sark coached the game, and they almost won that game against Clemson and Tampa.
Lane wasn't the head guy.
But he was the offensive play caller.
He's been a head coach the entire time with his football team and got him to this point. It's just hard to believe that. One, it's hard to believe that the AD and the chancellor even put him in this situation, saying you got to make a decision
hold
right
on,
now.
Beanie. I have to push. Beanie, respectfully, Beanie, I have got to push back on putting him in this situation. Lane Kiffin put himself in this situation. Now, I do understand that this is a symptom of the college football calendar. With the college football calendar, that December is crazy. You got signing day, you've got portal, all that. I understand that. It's different in the NFL when you can do it after the season before free agency. But at any point in time, Lane Kiffin could have put a stop to this like Kurt Signetti did within 48 hours, for instance, in October. Lane Kiffin did this. This was not done to Lane Kiffin.
There was no situation where the AD had to come out and say he has to make a decision by this date. We're getting ready to go into a place that we've never been before. Why put that added pressure, one, out there publicly, and then two, you put it out there to the locker room. How is your players going to feel about that?
But how are the players going to feel with Lane Kiffin interviewing with Florida and LSU at the same time?
I think players understand that because they understand the business of college football this day and age. So they understand when you have success, coaches are going to be called up and they're going to be offered jobs. That's just the nature of the business. But to put the situation out there to where you're causing disruption and publicly at that, I just can't agree with that.
Well,
there's no need for it.
When there is a resolution, we will be here for it on CBS Sports HQ. Full coverage of wherever Lane Kiffin decides to go. Stay in Oxford or head to Baton Rouge. We wait to see. Check out the latest edition of College Football Insiders, hosted by a powerhouse team of reporters, including Richard Johnson. This show delivers the stories behind the headlines. You can watch full episodes right now on the CBS Sports College Football YouTube page.